What do philosophy, psychology, emotional intelligence, and artificial intelligence have in common?
Have you ever felt, well, stuck, despite putting in the effort? Like there's something missing in how you understand yourself, or maybe your decisions, or even just the people around you.
Uh-huh.
Well, today, we're doing a deep dive into what our source calls a kind of shortcut to being well informed. It's this really surprising, powerful link between four fields that seem quite separate at first glance: philosophy, psychology, emotional intelligence, and artificial intelligence.
Right. And the mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack how these areas actually weave together.
Exactly.
Because at their core, they're all asking similar things, aren't they?
Yeah.
How we think, how we act, and maybe most importantly, how we can actually do better.
Hmm.
How we can thrive, especially now with things changing so fast all the time.
It's not just theory.
No, definitely not just piling up facts. It's about using it. Practical stuff that can genuinely change things for you.
That's it. And the source material we're drawing on is really interesting because it comes from someone who's been deep in it. Personally, these aren't just academic thoughts. They're reflections, insights, lessons learned from someone actually living this stuff, reading a ton of nonfiction, trying out the ideas, always asking, okay, is this actually true? How can I use this in my life?
So it's tested.
Yeah, tested. It's about a practical way to grow. And we'll look at specific examples, thinkers and authors who show how you can adapt and maybe evolve a bit.
Okay, so let's start with the foundations then. Philosophy, psychology, and emotional intelligence, or EQ. These really are the bedrock, aren't they, for understanding ourselves as humans?
They tackle the big questions.
The source puts it quite bluntly, how we think is literally the starting point for everything else. It's the difference, potentially, between success and failure long term.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't really get who you are or how the world actually functions, it's just incredibly hard to know what changes you even need to make. You could have all the motivation in the world, but be pointed in the wrong direction.
So, okay, how does this work out practically in day-to-day life? What's the real impact?
Well, the source talks about a pretty profound shift in self-understanding.
Right.
For example, taking on board Stoic principles.
Hmm.
That ancient philosophy focusing on what you can actually control.
Yeah, locus of control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Learning to pause in stressful moments and ask, okay, what part of this is actually up to me? That specific tool, just that mental habit, apparently led to a real drop in impulsive reactions.
Fewer knee-jerk responses.
Yeah, and a boost in feeling effective.
Yeah.
That feeling of self-efficacy. It's about not just being pushed around by external events, but managing your internal state.
And that internal control, that must spill over into how we deal with others, right?
Oh, absolutely. It extends outward. Our source notes a big improvement in, say, negotiation skills.
How so?
By learning to listen differently, not just hearing the words, but trying to understand the unmet needs underneath.
Yeah.
Psychology talks about this a lot as the root of conflict. So if you can get a sense of the other person's perspective through that lens, then you can explain your own position more rationally. And the result, often better agreements, or at least outcomes where everyone feels, reasonably okay with it, mutually beneficial.
It's less about winning, more about understanding.
Precisely. It's about understanding first.
There's another point here that really struck me about compassion. How does diving into these areas lead to more compassion?
Ah, yeah, that's a powerful one. The insight seems to be this. Once you really dig into these fields, you start to see that fundamentally, we're all grappling with very similar challenges.
The human condition.
Basically, yeah. We're wrestling with the same big questions. Who am I? What do I want? Just, in our own context. And when you truly grasp that shared humanity, that we're actually more alike than we are different,
It changes things.
it profoundly changes things. It fosters more than just appreciation. It can actually shift how you treat people. It helps bridge those divides that come from fear and misunderstanding.
Which are the source of so many problems, really.
So many human-made problems boil down to that lack of understanding, don't they?
Yeah. And these aren't just fuzzy ideas. The source really emphasizes learning from brilliant people from all over the world, leveraging their wisdom.
Right. Specific examples are given, like Socrates' apology.
Yeah.
That really embodies the Socratic method, doesn't it? That constant questioning of assumptions to get closer to truth.
The Alentis.
That's the one. Or you look at Seneca's letters to Lucilius, just packed with practical Stoic advice for everyday life.
Timeless stuff.
Absolutely. And then there's Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence, giving us that framework for self-awareness, empathy, social skills.
So these aren't just dusty books on a shelf.
Not at all. They represent this incredibly rich body of knowledge, often refined over centuries, sometimes tested through rigorous study, that you can actually evaluate for yourself. Does this ring true? Can I apply this? It's about expanding your mind, changing your behavior for the better.
It's like having access to a master class in being human.
Exactly. A masterclass in thriving, available right there.
Okay, that lays a really solid foundation. These 3 pillars, philosophy, psychology, EQ, guiding us towards better thinking, better ways of being. But how do we, accelerate this? Especially now.
Right. How do we supercharge it? And that's where the 4th piece comes in. Artificial intelligence.
AI. But not as a replacement for human thinking.
No, definitely not. More like a powerful amplifier. AI fundamentally is computational power that can seriously extend our own cognitive abilities. It opens up possibilities we just didn't have before for learning and applying this stuff.
How does it actually change things in terms of accessing knowledge?
Well, it's a fundamental shift. Think about AI algorithms, like, say, deep learning models. They can process and analyze huge amounts of text, finding subtle patterns in language that might reveal emotional tones or logical gaps, things humans might miss or take ages to find.
So instant learning.
Pretty much instant learning, yeah. Discussion, questioning, debating ideas with an AI. It becomes possible on a whole new scale. The main limits are really your own imagination and, crucially, how good you are at asking the right questions.
That accessibility is huge for personal growth.
It's a game changer.
But, okay, we hear a lot about the power of AI. There's also the responsibility aspects, the ethics. It's not just a footnote, is it? We need to make sure these tools are used well.
Absolutely critical. The source is clear on this.
Yeah.
The ethical responsibility is woven right into the whole idea. AI must be used to make lives better, not worse.
Like any tool.
Exactly like any powerful tool. Its impact depends entirely on the wisdom and the intentions of the people using it. Which brings us to the grand synthesis.
Tying it all together.
Right. If philosophy, psychology, and EQ help us figure out the right thoughts to think and the right way to act,
then AI gives us the tool.
it gives us the tool to actually do the right things, to achieve potentially anything we can imagine, but in that right way. It creates this loop, insight feeding action, action refining insight, all amplified by technology.
That synthesis makes so much sense. And when you think about the possibilities of them working together,
It's huge. Philosophy, psychology, EQ teach us how to ask better, deeper questions about ourselves, others, the world.
and AI then.
AI turbocharges our ability to explore the answers with speed, with depth. That was just unthinkable before. We can go deeper, much faster.
The source paints this picture. Imagine having Socrates, Alfred Adler, Daniel Goleman, and maybe Sam Altman available for instant consultation.
It's a compelling image, isn't it? The whole point is bridging that gap between, sometimes dense academic knowledge and actual real-life use, making complex ideas accessible, actionable right now.
And you give an example, how might that work?
Well, imagine using an AI language model to simulate conversations based on different cultural viewpoints. You could sort of experience diverse perspectives, build empathy much quicker than just reading about it. That directly supports that compassion piece we talked about.
Making it practical.
Exactly. Taking the theory off the page and putting it into practice, amplified by the tech.
So the ultimate goal here, this whole pursuit, is really about continuous improvement, isn't it?
It is. Continuous self-improvement, yes, but also fostering that mutual understanding between people. And ultimately, trying to collectively build a world where, ideally, everyone has a better chance to thrive.
A vision of humans and technology working together for good.
Yeah, constantly pushing ourselves, using these tools wisely to see what we can achieve.
So wrapping this up, the really big question isn't if these fields matter. I think we've shown they clearly do.
The real question, the challenge maybe, is whether we'll actually have the courage to implement what they teach us, to put it into action.
That really is the challenge, isn't it? Because in a world where AI can amplify our best qualities, but also, let's be honest, our flaws and mistakes.
It magnifies everything.
Understanding ourselves, knowing how to apply this knowledge wisely, it feels more critical than ever before. So maybe the final thought for you listening is, what does this deep dive mean for your own journey, your own path of growth and asking questions?